Let's get the show started, shall we?
Live from BC Children's Hospital in Vancouver, it's the 29th Annual Miracle Weekend.
Yes, welcome inside BC Children's Hospital. You know, this place serves 1 million children living in BC and the Yukon. They treat the severely ill kids, of course, but they also take care of all those smaller things like the bad ear infection that happens at 2:30 in the morning or a broken elbow.
Those things can feel like big things to little people,
For sure.
I'm sure. So for the next 4 hours, all day tomorrow, we will give you an insight into so many heroic stories and how this hospital is such an important place to many families around beautiful British Columbia.
I have some familiar faces here from the medical department of BC Children's Hospital and the Child and Family Research Institute. Dr. Wyeth Wasserman, now obviously this is an important cause to you because you're from here, but let's talk about how you actually raise the funds.
So this is a very passionate group. So in addition to direct donations, we've had raffles and hot dog days and gathering everybody with a lot of the trainees participating as well.
Sounds like you sold a lot of hot dogs. Can we show everybody how much money you have raised? Can we flip the check, you guys? This is really impressive. Look at this, $393,000, 723. So impressive. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much. All right, Barry, what do you have?
I'm joined now by Dr. Wyeth Wasserman, Executive Director, Child and Family Research Institute. It's such a pleasure to have you with us this year again. Doctor, I think our viewers have a good understanding because we can show them very clearly the need from the patient's point of view and what happens in the hospital in terms of helping sick and injured kids. What we don't talk about as much is that donated money also goes towards research. So I want you to help us to understand that our money is also funding much needed research.
So there's a few things to think about why do we support research when we're supporting the hospital?
Right.
One is it's ultimately about hope. So when we're supporting research, we're supporting the idea that we can do it better in the future.
Right.
That we can find a better way to do things. And when we participate in research globally, it means that our doctors who are leading many of those projects are bringing those new approaches to our kids as soon as possible.
Right.
As soon as they're proven and safe, they're going to be brought into play into BC Children's Hospital.
I like that you use the word hope because to me that also means the future and like you said, looking ahead. So can you give me a tangible example of money that's been given by donors that has now been, that's gone into research and is actually helping kids?
So one that made the news all over the world this past year was some work by Dr. Stuart Turvey, who's an immunologist here at the hospital. And what he discovered was kids that developed asthma compared to kids that didn't develop asthma. The kids that didn't develop asthma had a greater diversity of bacteria that they'd been exposed to. And so it made news everywhere in the world that if our kids are able to get in and play in the dirt,
Right.
eat everything,
Right.
that they're going to have a better
they do.
chance for success.
So great example of money making a difference. All right, and lastly, there's a name change coming. We're in the midst of it right now. Tell us briefly about that.
So for the past 12 years, the Research Institute has been known as the Child and Family Research Institute.
Right.
And that's always been a little confusing because it's ultimately about BC Children's. And so starting now, we're in the process of transitioning the name so it will be the BC Children's Hospital Research Institute, the BC Children's Hospital. It's
All
much
about the
cleaner.
children, all about the children. Name change, but the same important work.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doctor, so much for being with us. We are pleased to introduce you now to our 2016 champion child. I had a chance to chat with Aiden Chin earlier this evening. 5 years ago, cancer tore apart Aiden's world and forced him into BC Children's Hospital for weeks at a time. But you know what? Cancer couldn't break the deep bond Aiden had with his brother and his friends. In fact, it did quite the opposite.
I don't expect my cancer to come back. It's a new chapter in my life. I guess there is a sense of being a child, being a teen again. So there are times when I do feel free. I don't think I could ever fully go back to what it was like before. Bren was 7 years old and I was only 11, so we both were just kids, right?
I had no clue. I heard the cancer word, I was just like, what is that? Okay, maybe I'm gonna see him tomorrow. My eyes kind of started opening up and I was just like, Aiden's not gonna be here for a while. I'm only gonna see him maybe a couple times a week. It just keeps on going in my head, like, what if he was not gonna make it? What if I wasn't gonna see him at home anymore?
There were times when I was feeling really sick and out of it and tired, and there were times when it wasn't always the chemo, it was about how other patients in the hospital were doing.
You don't know what it's like, because I've been through so much pain, but I want to be here for 2 weeks. And they'd be here for 6 months, you say?
And I was sad that there were other patients and there were other children that were younger than me going through cancers that were harder than mine. Basically, from that point on, I was like, why don't I try to get through it and then hopefully come back, help out. That's what I've basically been trying to do since I finished treatment. I got to join this club at the hospital called the Oncology Teen Group Club. It's something that you can't find out of the hospital. As a survivor, I'm still part of the teen group. There's still a lot of support that I can give to them and they can give to me, because there's an understanding that treatment isn't over when you're a survivor. There's still an emotional side of things. You have friends that are going through it, friends that aren't gonna make it through it, and that becomes a reality for you. It's not just over. Brooke was a friend of mine that I met in the hospital, and she became basically a sister to me. Brooke was definitely the closest friend that I had that I lost. The day before she passed away, I did get to see her in the hospital, and I did get to hold her hand, talk to her, and say goodbye, and tell her I loved her one last time. And I don't believe that you can accept something like that. You have to, I guess, learn to cope with it more. Before, I felt like cancer was something that was rare, that 1 in a ton of kids would be diagnosed, but it's not rare, and there's a lot of kids in oncology, children that are going through what you went through, and pain that is unexplainable. I want to be able to give back to those that have helped me in the hospital, that have made it so that I can go out there and be active and just live my life again.
It's a really good feeling that I could just go home and do something with my brother now. Without Children's Hospital, my brother wouldn't be here, so I'm eternally grateful for them being there.
I'm looking forward to staying connected to the hospital because it's been such a big part, giving back and pursuing the dreams that I have, and being able to do that because of BC Children's Hospital.
Miracle Weekend coming to a close, but what a weekend it's been. It's time to check in for a big total, guys.
It is.
Let's do
So
it.
before we do this, though, I really would like to say thanks to all the volunteers working behind the scenes who helped us out.
Yes.
You've been amazing.
Yes. It really is a cast of thousands. So do we want to do this right now?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Let's turn the numbers.
Okay.
8,
0, 6, 8, 1, 0. Yeah!
Angels are smiling, lifted by love, awed by the children, exploring their world of pure innocence, pure love. Mothers and fathers whisper their prayers, take joy in knowing that everyone shares their faith and hope and love. Little ones laughing, lost in their play, through grateful eyes you can hear them say, thank you all, thank you, thank you all, thank you. Miracles happen with love, and with help from the angel someday what happens for you, and peace comes to you from above. Miracles happen with love. Miracles happen with love. And with help from the angel and all of us, miracles happen, oh yes they do. Here's hoping someday what happens for you, and peace comes to you from above. Miracles happen with love.